What is up, guys? Welcome back to the NALF YouTube channel. For those of you guys who are new here, my name is Nick Alfieri, aka NALF. I'm an American from Portland, Oregon, but now I live in Germany and play American football here. Today we've got a special video for you. I did a collaboration with Felicia from the YouTube channel German Girl in America. Now, Felicia is from Germany. She's from Munich, and she went to the United States in 2016 for university, the same year that I came to Germany for football. So we have very similar experiences. So we got on a Zoom call together, and we basically talked about our experiences in these countries, different cultural differences, stuff like that. So it was a great conversation, really fun and interesting. Felicia's really smart. She speaks better English than I do, so it was fun to talk to her. And I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as well. So we broke this conversation into two parts. The first part is on my channel right here, and the second part will be on Felicia's channel. So once you're done watching this part of the conversation, go over to Felicia's channel, watch the video, and subscribe to her channel. She's got really cool and interesting videos about her experience as a German in the USA, basically the exact opposite of my channel. Okay, guys, so without further ado, please enjoy this conversation between me, an American guy in Germany, and Felicia, a German girl in America. Okay. Felicia, oh wait, I forgot the question I gotta pull up. What are some of the major social interaction differences in America that initially threw you off?
Well, I'd say there's a lot. Number one, for sure, is small talk. Just because, I mean, I knew that Americans do that, obviously, but we're just not used to doing that in Germany. And so you kind of like, it didn't throw me off in the sense that I didn't expect it or I thought it was weird. I just had to learn it, I guess. And so I had to get used to it. I had to get used to the whole talking to strangers thing. I had to get used to the whole saying, how are you, as a hello.
Right.
So there is one thing that always threw me off in the beginning. So I came here as an exchange student. So I was on campus a lot. And I would see someone on campus that I knew from class or from somewhere else. And we would like pass each other. And the other person would be like, hey, Feli, how are you? And I'd like automatically stop walking. Because that's what we do in Germany. We like have a conversation when we meet someone we know. And so I would stop walking, and the other person would literally just pass me, and I'd be like, "Wait, what's happening?" Like in the beginning, I thought that was rude.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because I mean, it is a question to start a conversation in Germany for sure. And I try to like. It's such an instinctual thing for me when I see someone. Hey, how are you? And I'm like, whenever I say it here, I'm like, shit, like. I'm just meaning hi. I don't want to have a conversation right now.
I know. But even, I feel like in Germany, even if you just said hi, you would still stop most of the time. Like, we don't really do that thing a whole lot where we just say hi and keep walking, I feel like.
True. You don't just say, like, yeah, people don't just, like, say hi to strangers. Whereas, like, I'm so used to that. And that recently happened to me where I just said hi to, like, a stranger in the park here. And it was just so awkward. Like, I just got like the strangest look. I was like, I'm just saying hi. It's not just saying hi. Sorry.
Yeah, Germans will think like, are you a weird person? What's wrong with you? Or they'd be like, do we know each other and I forgot, or something like that. Yeah.
So has your mindset changed on it? Like, do you feel pretty comfortable with it now?
I still feel weird. So I do it myself now because I know it's a thing, but I still feel weird saying like, hey, whatever, hey, Ashley, how are you? And just, like, keep walking. Like, I have to force myself to not stop.
Really? Yeah, so it's not natural. It's still something you have to consciously do.
Yep.
Okay, and I have the opposite, where I'm, like, consciously, and I have to force myself to not say, how are you?
Okay. So what do you say now? Do you just say, hello?
Yeah, I'll just say hello, or I'll just say servus, but sometimes even that's a little bit too, like, opening up the realm for conversation, so I'll just stick with the hello typically now. Okay. But I catch myself slipping up every once in a while, and then I can tell people are like trying to stop.
Did you say wie geht's in the beginning a lot?
Yes. Oh yes, I did do that. And that people are like, oh, all right, here, I'll tell you how it's going. And I was like, and I'll still say that, or I'll say like was geht up, which still seems like it like invites people to like start a conversation. But really, like, all of them to me just mean hi. Yeah. And I have to learn that it doesn't mean that.
I know. A lot of Germans, to avoid starting a conversation, do things like asking a question that you can only answer with yes and no. So, like, alles gut.
That's a good tactic. Okay, that's good. I'm going to use that.
A lot of Germans do that. And then all you can say is, like, yeah, passt schon, it's going.
Aha. All right, I'm going to use this. This is a good technique.
Yeah. Oh, how do I feel about small talk?
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
I think I just wrote down annoyed because that's like what a lot of Germans say. And I did feel that way when I first came to the US as like a tourist. So like I was here a few times before I actually moved here, and I always felt like that. I was the typical German. I was like, I don't need that superficial small talk. Like, let's just either have a deep conversation or not talk at all. I don't need that. Especially as like a tourist, it's someone you'll never see again. Like, doesn't give me anything. But now I really do appreciate it.
Do you?
Yeah, like I love small talk. It's not always superficial. It's nice to have a nice conversation with someone. It like brightens your day a little bit, and also in a lot of cases something actually comes from it. Like people don't only talk about superficial things. Like people also give each other advice or be like, hey, I know this one person who is in that field. Maybe I can connect you, or like, you know, things come from it too.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to, not to jump too far ahead, but like that's one of the things that I miss most about America is the small talk. And, you know, it is superficial at times, but even when it's superficial to me, I always like, or oftentimes will leave the interaction like feeling like pleasant or happy or like in a good mood for a few minutes at least. So I think the American small talk gets a little bit of a bad rap over here.
Yeah.
That kind of leads us into this. Do you find Americans to be superficial in a way? Yeah,
I thought about that question. I feel like it really depends on the situation. And it took me a while to like read the different situations. And overall, I wouldn't say that Americans are superficial. Like there definitely are superficial situations, and small talk can be superficial. But I've also had very real, deep conversations. I have real friends that I talk about real issues with. It's really tricky because I feel like Germans just kind of misinterpret. So I feel like Germans just kind of misinterpret the whole way Americans interact with each other. And they assume it's superficial, but you really just have to learn how it works, and you have to learn how to read it, and then it's not all superficial at all.
It's a little bit of an acquired taste, probably.
What do you think about it? Like now that you've been away for so long?
I freaking love small talk. I love going to the grocery store and like being in the same aisle as somebody that I don't know and just kind of just BSing a little bit, something friendly. When I went back to the States this past year for Christmas, and I was in a grocery store and somebody started talking to me, or when I was in the cafe and somebody started talking to me, like the typical American small talk, it threw me off for a second. I was like annoyed that someone was talking to me, and I was like, hey, just let me get my coffee. I don't want to talk to you right now. And that was kind of a crazy thing for me because in the past I've always loved it. And it took me like a week or so to get back into, you know, the typical American small talk. But so I like it. I think it can be superficial at times, but even when it's a little bit superficial, it's sometimes fun. And like you said, it's not always superficial. And sometimes, you know, things lead to it and stuff like that. So
what about like situations that aren't connected to small talk? Do you think that Americans are just superficial, or can be superficial, or can come off as superficial in certain situations?
Here's one that comes to my mind. If somebody invites you to something, I would never, as an American, I would never say no right there. Like, yeah. I would be like, oh, okay, that sounds great. Yeah, let me check my schedule and get back to you, even if I have no intention of doing it. And then I would kind of, you know, like, shoot, it's not going to work this time. Maybe next time, which I do think that's a little bit of a superficial way to handle it. But it's also, in my mind and in like culture that I was raised in, it'd be rude to decline an offer right there. And it's more polite, and it's the proper way to. That's the more proper way to do it. Whereas in Germany, it is the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I've mentioned so many times in my videos. Like the fake plans, I still sometimes can't handle them because even like good friends of mine will like make plans with me and then not get back to me. Or like they won't even cancel because they're so scared of canceling. They think not following up is more polite than canceling. Whereas like as a German, you'll think that it's way more polite to be honest with a person than lying to them. So we would think that saying no on the spot is the most polite thing and most honest thing you can do. There's a plane here.
I agree with that. I think the more honest, obviously the more honest, and I think the proper way to do that is to handle it right there, honestly. So I wish that America didn't have this culture where it is the polite way to do it. by kind of delaying and not following up and stuff like that. So I find myself kind of like, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but facing that and be like, you know what? I don't think that I'm gonna be able to do that, or that doesn't sound like something that would interest me. And it is just deathly uncomfortable for me to say something like that.
Even to a German, because Germans are so used to it.
Yeah, even to a German, because I feel like it's gonna hurt their feelings. Even though, I mean, I guess logically I know that, but emotionally, I cringe. It's cringeworthy to me. But I think the German way on this is better. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so no, I feel like you will never hurt a German by saying that. Depends on how you say it, but I don't even think you could be that direct as an American to even say it in a way that it could hurt a German. Like, our threshold of being hurt is just so much higher with those kind of things.
That is true. I think Americans are very sensitive with it. So that's something I'm trying to keep working on. It's tough, but I think the German way is better, and us Americans have to learn when it comes to this.
Well, if we could implement the German way in both countries, but then also like add some kind of friendliness to it, so like just add some kind of American friendliness so that people don't have to be rude but still be honest, that'd be the perfect combination for me.
That's the good balance. All right, so let's work on that. Let's see if we can implement that in the States. That's your job. You're over there.
Yeah, I'll try.
Good luck.
There's a few other things that I wrote down that threw me off in the beginning. So the opposite of the whole hello thing, like short goodbyes. In Germany, the whole saying goodbye to someone, I feel like is always this dance. We always kind of like, we talk about when we'll see each other again, and we have like this long goodbye talk. And a lot of Americans just say, see ya, and they're already gone, I feel like.
I've had this experience when there's like a party or a gathering or something, and I'm like getting ready to leave. I'm just like, all right, guys, thanks. See you next time. And just kind of head out pretty quickly. And I've had people say, like, that's kind of rude, man. And I'm just like, I don't mean it to be. But no, it's very interesting. I agree.
Well, I like that you don't have to feel pressure to like say goodbye to every single person. So I kind of like that you're more free, I guess, more independent, and that it's not a bad thing. But that threw me off in the beginning. So I also thought like a few people were being rude to me when they really weren't. And one more thing was, I think that's kind of like a Midwest thing more, that a lot of people held the door for me, even when I was like, so on campus a lot, or like, let me think of like other situations. I think, mostly like in the university environment, and I'd still be like so far away, and they would hold the door for me, and I'd be so confused because I'm still like, 20 meters away, and they're just standing there waiting for me.
Now that you say that, I have realized that I've gotten into some kind of awkward situations where I'm holding the door for somebody here, and I feel like I can't remember a time where somebody like held the door open for me here in kind of like that exaggerated American way.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do that in Germany. I think we should do that in Germany, but that definitely, it surprised me, and I always felt like bad because that person was just standing there for 30 seconds waiting for me, and they didn't even know me. And it's not just guys, it's girls too.
Yeah, so do you like that now, or you still feel weird about it?
I feel like they overdo it sometimes. Like I can open it myself.
Yeah, okay.
Back to you. So what are things that threw you off regarding interactions in Germany?
Okay, I'm going to say, there's obviously a bunch of them. I'm going to try and stick to one big one, and it is people kind of telling you what you should and shouldn't do, kind of like people policing you, just others citizens. And it's interesting because like typically, you wouldn't think that Germans typically don't do small talk with strangers, but it seems like German people are willing to tell a stranger, hey, don't do that or do this. Like, for example, if I'm sitting to pick somebody up and my car is running, I've had multiple times where somebody will come tap on my window and tell me to turn my car off. And I just feel like that does not happen in the States at all.
Well, we kind of just skip the small talk. So we skip being nice to each other, but we dive right into being like, we Germans like to interfere into each other's lives.
Yes, they do. Yeah. All right. That's my big one. And I think, I don't really know why.
Like the whole freedom aspect is stressed a lot more here. Like everyone should be able to do what they want to do. And that's not really as strong in Germany. Like people don't think that everyone should be able to do what they want to do. Like Germans think that everyone should be able to enjoy themselves as long as they also comply to all the rules and don't harm the society. And basically like having your car running when you're picking someone up is like harming the environment. So
yeah, I think that is that makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel like Germany is such a more like collective culture, whereas America is such an individualistic culture.
I personally really appreciate the way it is in the US though. Like, I think I mentioned that in one of my last videos. It's kind of like mind your own business in the US is like the motto, but like in a positive way. Like, mind your own business. Like, you can do what you want to do. You don't have to care about what other people do, but that's not the case in Germany. And that's something that I really didn't enjoy living there, that people think that they have a right and they have a right to have an opinion about things you do.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's been one of the most shocking things and things that just kind of rile me up is that kind of behavior. So I would say I agree. I like it better how it is in the States. But with that being said, say, for example, like this current coronavirus situation, I've seen people, Germany is like one of the best countries, numbers-wise, statistics-wise, handling this. And I do think, in part, that could be attributed to people kind of doing that. Not necessarily people like, going around and forcing other people's behavior, but I have seen it firsthand. Like, you're only supposed to be, if you're outside, you should only be in contact with one other person, so groups of two. And I've seen just people walking by and seeing, teenagers in groups of three telling them, hey, only two allowed. And so I think that, even though I don't personally like it that much, there are some positives, like in a situation like this.
I agree. So during this situation, I've also had a lot of Americans say things to me like, I don't think the government should be responsible for telling us what to do and what not to do. Everyone should decide themselves what they want to give up to contribute to this whole situation. And I don't think any German I know would ever say that to me.
But that's kind of like how my mindset is. I'm like, government can't really tell me what to do. I'm happy to help and do my part, but you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah. It's a different mindset. Like in Germany, we're more like, the government is our friend. Whereas in the US, I feel like a lot of people think more like, ooh, no, the government's trying to take my freedom.
This was going to be the topic of my next video, was that in Germany, it seems like people view the government as their friend, as an institution that helps society and helps them. And in America, whenever you're talking about the government, it's always the government's a bad guy out to get you, out to stop, your freedoms and stuff.
Yeah, that's also always the number one argument for the whole gun issue, which, like, obviously me coming from Germany, like, I have conversations about that quite a lot. And that's always what people say first. Like, that's for the citizens to protect themselves against the government. And that's not really a mindset that we have in Germany.
Right. I think that's fascinating. I might make a whole video on that pretty soon, but I think that's fascinating. So that is it for the first part of our conversation. Now you should go on over to Felicia's channel, watch part 2, and subscribe to her channel as well. Now, if you guys like this conversation that we had, please let us know, and we'll definitely do this again because we had so much to talk about. So just let us know, and we will definitely do it again. All right, guys? So, yeah, make sure you subscribe to Felicia's channel, watch her part of the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.